previous objective. They got a fort at Williamsburg. So we've got a couple of things we need to do, which is kind of like I don't really know where to start. Let's go to the world map here. So these are different, I guess, nations, if you will. So we've got the Creek, the Seminole, the Choctaw, and the Chickasaw, all fighting for the Confederates. Leaning toward the Confederates. No, they're actually fighting for the Confederates. The Osage are leaning toward the Union, and the Cherokee are leaning toward the Confederates. We've also got the Comanche and the Apaches, the Pueblos, and the Navajo. That's kind of cool. You get all the native tribes represented here. You also have relations with Haiti, which is favoring the Union, Mexico, which is favoring the Union, and then you have off-map relations with UK, France, and Spain, all favoring the Confederacy to various degrees. If we take a look at the convoy maps here, you can see all the different convoy routes. You can see the Confederates can raid convoys between Haiti and New York. The Confederates can also raid convoys between Europe and the United, or I guess Canada, I guess that is. There also are convoy routes basically into the Confederate South, here from various Caribbean islands. What's this? Blockade runners, Charleston. So you can show blockade runner routes. So you can highlight individual different blockade runner routes. Okay. So our goal has to obviously be to interdict them, and then you get cross overland routes between Nebraska Territory, Dakota Territory, Kansas, Wyoming, Utah, California, Idaho, and Montana, all on the map here as well. So you can see, like, California gives 125 MPPs to us every turn, but it can be interdicted. Idaho gives us, I guess, 100 for its mobilization. Kansas gives 5, Nebraska gives 5, Dakota gives 5, Wyoming gives 5. Various mobilization levels. You can also declare war on this map too. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Strategy map. Alright, so we need to blockade the Confederacy, and I think the best way to blockade the Confederacy is to take their ports. So one of the ways to do that is to take Fort Hatteras, because you can see here Elizabeth City feeds its blockade runners through Fort Hatteras and then out to the European places. So Fort Hatteras obviously should be an objective for us. We also have warships in the blockade zones off Norfolk, which is currently blockading. Norfolk. Where are all my warships, by the way? And also it does say we place river warships to send them to the Mississippi River. It takes 3 turns. So in New York, we don't have a lot of warships along our coast. We do have a frigate here. Operated. So we've got that 1 unit. It's gotta be hard to keep track of units on this map. It's so freaking huge. Now let's send this frigate. Yes. Mississippi River. I want to take New Orleans. Probably going to take a little while before I can do that. By the way, it also scrolls way better when I do this. Alright, so we have to maintain at least 1 unit within 2 hexes of the blockade runner route out from Charleston, and then also from Savannah. So let's go ahead and take this Wabash and put it on the Savannah route. These guys are currently set to raid, so these guys are blocking Charleston and Savannah are currently blockaded by the Niagara and the Wabash. Along Florida coast, Kansas, Florida. Okay, so you actually can move units more quickly by dropping them in these down arrow sections of the map, which are interesting. You can keep all units at least 4 hexes away from the blockade runner ports in order to basically prevent the British from getting pissed that you're essentially just hanging off their territories. What's this? This is a river gunboat. Can we attack it? No. Alright, well, let's have the Mississippi. There's 2 frigates here in southern New Orleans. So we'll send these guys to raid and put them on this New Orleans blockade route. We already have gunboats here on the Mobile. I need to use some controls. Mobile route, Fort Pickett. Nice. Damaged it, drove it back up the river past the forts here. Alright, I can't move those guys, so we'll put them there, I guess. Alright, so we've got 3 ships along the New Orleans route. One of those timberclads back up the river. Actually, the Mobile route has a blockade section as well. So important to remember that sloops are, in this era, the sloop is kind of the main warship. I think with the advent of exploding shells and steam power, the sloop becomes a lot more like the modern day destroyer, and the frigate kind of becomes more like a cruiser, which in sort of the Napoleonic eras, the frigate was sort of the general cruising ship, and then the sloop was a little bit undersized, and then you had the ships of the line. Really, in this era, though, the sloop had they had 100-pound shell guns with like wooden warships. That was enough. So things kind of start to change in terms of traditional warship makeups around this time period. That being said, let's go ahead and start a land offensive here. Let's try and drive some of these Confederate brigades back from Alexandria, which they seem to be threatening. So we'll go ahead and attack here. The troops don't have super effective weapons at the moment. Technology research can be done, which will make your units stronger or weaker, whatever, and better at fighting. But at least initially, I'm guessing this is representing, one, by the fact that our troops are largely undersized units. They're brigades, not divisions, not corps. But then, two, they're also kind of fighting with smoothbore weapons in a lot of cases. In any event, you can see our attacks not so effective. Is my balloon? Who does it actually see? So we didn't even destroy this brigade. We did weaken it, but we didn't destroy it. block any rebel advance from this brigade. Well, if the enemy has any troops at Joplin, I feel like cavalry is going to be important in this game because of how a line of sight works or doesn't. St. Louis. Alright, so it feels like St. Louis is safe right now. We'll leave that regiment there. Those troops up. Trying to secure Missouri because that's definitely a dicey proposition. We also do have a few timberclads. Upgrade them. Engines level 1, which will make them better. That. Am I missing any units that haven't moved yet? I'm sure. We'll leave that unit in Denver. I don't really want them to move. Fort Scott, you stay there. Fort Baxter, stay there. Cavalry, I don't want you guys to attack yet. St. Louis, I don't want you to move yet. Cairo will keep you in position as well. Evansville, cavalry. Evansville's not the place I want the troops to be. I'd like them to move down toward Paducah or up toward Albany. Actually, do that. They'll move up here so they're ready to cross the Ohio. And I'm not going to have those guys attack in the valley. Some of these guys still have movement points, but they already fought. Let's also move this building for a little bit. Oh yeah, the troops at Fort Monroe. Can they move out of here? Yeah, they can hit the Fort of Williamsburg, do some damage there, and pull back. I'm going to try and force my way toward Richmond. Williamsburg's a fort, the Magruder, I guess, fort. Okay, so that's it for the turn. Gamepad prospects have been a lot of CW. There's no shock cavalry in this game. I don't think anyway. Alright, so we have 850 points. We can do research, which I think is probably a good idea. So we're already investing, it looks like, in infantry. Research, we've got ×2 already. I want to research in corps organization, but it looks like we're already researching 2 there. So the Union's already doing a pretty good job of research here. Let's also research naval tactics for 150. So that's already at level 2. Amphibious is already at level 2. Spotting and intelligence is at 1. Logistics is at 2. Production's at 2. Industrial's at 2. So we can research subs. I don't need to do that. Cavalry tactics, infantry, research infantry tactics. Armored trains. Get us right back to Ultimate General Civil War's armored trains. Ironclads. I'm already researching the max. We're spending 3,900 on research already. Okay. Also, why does Mexico, why not Mexico? Alright. I'm assuming infantry tactics is like infantry weapons. And it's interesting that artillery doesn't seem to be a major thing. So actually we have 100 research available that we could still spend. Modernization, I don't really want to do that. Planes and tanks. Or submarines. Mortars is too much. Lighthouses. Research the lighthouses. So we did the infantry tactics, right? Everything else, I think we did naval as well. So we could cut back on research on one or the other of those. Balloons. Yeah, we'll pass on that. Alright, so let's purchase stuff then. We've got 500 points left. We can't do it. We have to research corps before we can build any corps, but we could research divisions. What's our production setup look like? It looks like we're going to get some naval forces here in February. Ironclad in February of 62. Got some stuff coming all the way in 63 and 64. Got some infantry divisions coming in 61, August. So I guess let's do a division. The division commander should quantity. Maybe more warships. River gunboats. How did the Ranger do? A mountain division. Did those exist in this era? It's interesting you get... Okay. Railroad artillery? I'm not a big railroad artillery guy. Siege artillery could be interesting. But I think we're going to do Marines. So we'll do one Marine division here, or unit. Do one infantry brigade, I guess. Okay, so a Marine unit and an infantry unit. And we'll end our turn. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Strategic Command, American Civil War, an upcoming strategy war game that looks at the American Civil War using the Strategic Command engine. I think I have, we're still a little early. We're basically, one turn in. We're just ending our turn. And I think my initial impressions are mostly that I think the strategic element and even the operational element of this game is going to be very interesting. I do have reservations away on how the battles are going to be resolved. I think it's going to be very grindy, especially in the Eastern Theater. This is just my initial impressions. I played, at the time I'm talking now, about 3 hours. I think the operational and the strategic elements are going to be really strong. There's not a lot of games that do that well. American Civil War by age out's probably one of the few. But, I really like sort of the huge size of the map, the need to focus on logistics, the need to focus on supply lines, the ability to make amphibious assaults a very big part of your campaign, and you should do that as well. And I think balancing what you're spending your resources on is going to be really important. What I think the game is going to struggle with is making those battles when your armies come together feel meaningful, especially in the Eastern Theater. It feels almost like World War I right from the start, where you just get a line of troops and you're just slinging it away nonstop for the entire game, at least up through, I'm currently in November in my game. So that doesn't feel quite on point, and I think that could be a turn-off for some folks who are really into these kind of games. That being said, I do think the way that supplies are managed, the way that headquarters are managed, the way that resources are managed,